I'm 44 years old and life ain't golden. Like Jill Scott said, when you got no cash, got no check, but got no credit card, life is
It's a pleasure to introduce the one and only, the critically acclaimed Ghostpoet for FreshAirRadio, Edinburgh Student Radio.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, finally.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, sir.
I would also like first to thank Edinburgh's Movie Production Society for all the visuals. But first, it's important to know who you are. Do you want to let people know briefly who's Ghostpoet?
Oh, Ghostpoet's, I guess, an artist, experimental artist of sorts that talks about everyday life, really, and everyday situations and the ins and outs and ups and downs of the world we live in, I guess.
So basically rap, sing for the average Joe, right?
That's one way of putting it, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
That's great. I heard this question asked before, but I want you to answer it again. Maybe some people don't know. What's behind the meaning Ghostpoet? Like, what's behind the moniker?
Well, it's kind of a combination of two things. It's the ghost part is kind of, I don't know, it's weird. I used to like ghosts and the paranormal and stuff like that when I was a kid, so it's kind of just stayed with me, I guess. And the poet part was kind of at the same time trying to differentiate myself a bit from the idea of being a rapper and the idea of rapping. So I wanted to put something together that didn't scream rap and kind of had a hidden meaning in the sense that you couldn't really work out the music behind it. So that was kind of the thinking behind it. But at the same time, it's kind of as well taken on kind of different meaning in the sense of, I guess, kind of ghostwriting for people who don't have the opportunity to speak for themselves, you know what I mean? And the everyday person in different situations, so kind of writing for them as well. So it's got that kind of meanings, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. Ghostwriter for the everyday Joe. We continue with that whole theme. But a huge event probably in your life happened recently, being nominated for the Mercury Prize. I mean, that's a really big achievement at such an early stage in your career. What are your thoughts about this nomination, and what are your future goals in your music career?
Well, it was really a great thing to be nominated. It was one of them ones where, I don't know, it's like for me, I didn't make an album for awards and accolades. I made an album because it was like a passion. It was it felt like it needed to be done, you know, and to be, you know, given that nomination was great. It was a great kind of icing on the cake of this year, which has been a great year for me, and it's something that's, I guess, pushed my name and my music into, you know, the eyes and ears of people who may have never listened to my stuff. And that's the great thing about the Mercury Awards, it can really open doors for you, and that's really good, and I really appreciate that. And for me, the future is just kind of constantly, as what I've been doing, making music and continue to keep creating and making music, for me first and foremost, music that I would want to listen to, and whatever happens, happens, you know.
So there's no like particular awards you might want to win or markets you want to...
I'm not, part of me is like, I'm not interested in awards. Part of me is, of course, it's great to be part of any kind of accolade and so on and so forth. So I would like it, but it's not the end goal. It's not the reason why I make music. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm still making music. That's all I want to do first and foremost.
Yeah, that's a good goal. Making music for the people, not for the accolades. Something I would think really is relevant to you, like you're kind of a very personal guy. You rap for the average Joe, and you kind of have currently probably have more of a diehard following, but you're rising, you know, in this music celebrity, I would say. And what do you think, like, how will you be able to meet the expectation of those diehard fans who think you should still be personal, or just gonna be staying the same guy as you are?
It's great that people listen to my music, and it's great that there are fans out there who like what I do, but I'm not making music for people in the sense of I'm not making music for press or radio or whatever kind of group or whatever. It's because if I do that, then I'll be trying to make music for this particular person, that particular person, that particular person, and I didn't do that in the beginning. So it's kind of something that's been on my mind at the moment because of the, you know, what I've achieved this year, and it's one of them ones where I think when I make new music, what is my mindset? Because obviously I'm not in the same place I was in the beginning, but at the same time I still want to make the music that I've been making. So it's definitely a case of I've just got to keep that mentality of I want to please everyone. I want everyone to listen to my music, but I have to stick on the same mission and path that I have been going on, I guess. That's what's got me to where I am today. So that's why I look at it.
You can't satisfy everybody.
You can't, and I think it's one of them ones where you have to accept that you just got to do what you do to the best of your ability, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, such is life. You know?
You're coming, I would say, from a breed of rappers, artists that write their own lyrics and produce. So I would compare you to likes, not musically, but the type of how you do, you produce and you write the lyrics. J. Cole, Big Crit, Wiley. Why do you think like nowadays it's like there's a growing popularity in such artists? Like, I mean, does it give you more control over your own like work? You can.
Well, for me, producing was kind of an accident, really. It was one of them ones where I started to create, I guess, grime music when I started university, and I was around people who were starting to use rudimentary efforts in Reason and early computer making software, and I started to learn that stuff. But when I wanted to make what I'm kind of making now, I was on MySpace a lot, and I was looking for producers, but the beats that I was getting back were very much kind of in a kind of De La Soul kind of style, and J Dilla and Slum Village, very kind of like neo hip hop type stuff, which was lovely. It was cool. I really liked it in the beginning, but I thought to myself, that's not really what I'm trying to say. So I came across a few people that kind of understood what I was trying to do, but I realized that the only person really who can understand what I'm trying to do is myself. So it was more kind of just trying to get down ideas that I could give to producers to say, look, this is what I'm trying to do, let's work together on it. And then after a while, it just ended up me developing my style and just doing it myself, you know.
Yeah, that's a good way to go, because I gotta admit, like, your beats are really good.
Thanks, man.
Your lyrics, so
Thank you.
It's good you didn't go with any of those.
It's meant to be, I guess. It's meant to be, you know.
And regarding like, what are your, what can we expect in the near future from you? Like musically, album-wise, any plans?
At the moment, it's kind of, well, I've just started a tour, so this is like the second day of the tour. So I've got a lot of gigging to go. I've got a tour, UK tour, then I've got an Australian tour, then I've got a European tour after that. So that's going to take me to about December. And then, realistically, I want to make a new album, hopefully come out next year. But it's one of them ones where I want to make sure that it's right, you know what I mean? I don't want to just make it and put it out in January just because there's a big buzz and people expect something soon. I want to make it right, and I want to reflect my life now and reflect my musical taste now and the development I've made from the first album. So I feel there's still a bit more development to go, and I'm making ideas and I'm making demos, and yeah, when the time is right, I'll come out with a new EP at some point and a new album hopefully next year. That's the plan, and then in between that, gigging, collaborating with people, so on and so forth, really.
We'll be patiently waiting for that.
Cool, man.
And any collabs, like I know the Kano remix, I mean, you seem to have a good energy. You want to maybe do an official project with Kano?
You never know, I would love to. Kano's one of my favourite MCs of all time, you know, and for me it would be a pleasure to do so, but we'll see what Kano says, really, and it boils down to schedules and so on and so forth. There's a lot of people that I want to work with, but we'll see.
Can you name any of those?
No. There's a few things that I know potentially could happen, but I don't like jinxing it and saying it and then it doesn't happen and I look like an idiot. So I'd rather say nothing, and hopefully there's some interesting things that could be happening. We'll
I'd rather be a surprise for us.
Yeah.
I feel it. regarding taking off your music career, like you basically blew up quite recently as an artist, we know you got signed to the Brownswood recordings, but do you want to, because you even explain how like it was so hard to get your music heard in song lines. Can you explain your path, maybe like recommend anything for like artists who want to get into this shit? Like how is it right now in this day and age? How would an artist like yourself easy to break through?
It's not. It's for every type of music, every type of style. It's difficult, you know, because one, people are not buying records that they used to. Two, everything's kind of been done. I guess I think it's a kind of a case of trying to be as unique as possible to yourself as much as possible, and putting across your story without kind of. Personally, I like music where I'm looking at your world. I'm not looking at a world that you think you would like to be part of, or a world that has nothing to do with you. I think it's important to be as open and, you know, socially connected to your music as possible. I feel personally. For me, it was definitely a case of I finished university. I was living in Coventry. I was making music as a hobby more than anything. And it was just kind of a hobby, I guess, and it was just a case of I had music up on MySpace, and it would boil down to a friend of Brown's who kind of basically said, check him out, check out his music, and that was kind of how it happened for me. But it seems that's like the short story of it, but I think for me, it was a case of I was just trying to, which I didn't realise until now, I guess, that all me just making it as a hobby and constantly keeping it in my life was just kind of preparing myself for potential chance, you know. And I think that's kind of what, if any advice I would give, is definitely just be prepared for when something could happen. You know, you never know when it could happen. You got to be ready to do a gig or put music out or so on and so forth. So I think it's important to do that, I guess. But every case is different. It depends on what music you're making, you know.
So hard work and luck, in a way.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. It's more definitely much more hard work than luck. Luck is definitely important, and being in the right place at the right time is important, I guess.
Like in a way, in your situation, you would say like a friend of a friend helped out.
Definitely. That was the lucky break I was looking for. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of hard work. It's tough, but you've got to be prepared for that. It's one of them industries that everybody wants to get into, you know. So, yeah, I would say it's hard work and luck, a mixture of the two.
And I know you were a 9-to-5 guy before. You worked for an insurance company?
I did, yeah.
And how would you compare your lifestyles? I bet you obviously love the current one much more.
Of course, it's
would you ever go back to just working 9-to-5, keeping it stable?
No, I think. Well, that's the thing. You know what I mean? With a 9-to-5, you have that stability, which is important, and I hope to have that through music. But I don't know. For me, I think it's important to just follow your passion. Do you know what I mean? I was never passionate about working in a 9-to-5. It wasn't for me. Music has always been for me. So I think it's kind of the fuel to keep going, not going back to that, because it's just not for me. You know, music is what I want to do. So I hope I can do it for a long time to come. We'll see.
Best of luck with that.
Thanks, man.
We don't want you to leave this music. Rapping when you're 50, that would be great.
We'll see.
You're signed to an independent label currently, but I bet you've been getting calls maybe from majors. I think like with your kind of caliber currently, you know. But how would you compare like being on an indie compared to a major? That's also having Giles Peterson is a big asset.
Yeah, big asset. You know, he's been a tastemaker of music for a very long time, and he's one of these voices that when he speaks, people listen. You know, and they take his recommendations on board. And so definitely Brownswood and Giles Peterson have been fundamental in my success, so to speak, so far. I guess with wages you got to get more money in terms of for promotional purposes and stuff like that. As I'm not on a major, I couldn't tell you. I can only talk about what from my friends who I know on majors. That's what I see and hear, you know. And I don't know. For me, I think it's important. Whatever label I move on to in the future, it's important to have creative control, be able to make the music that I want to make. It doesn't matter. Obviously money is important, everyone has to pay bills and so on and so forth, but I don't want loads of money and not have creative control. I'd rather have nothing and be able to just make what I want to make. And that's important. That's very important to me. So that's what I'm looking for in the future.
And you're currently satisfied, so that is...
I'm happy. I'm happy. Satisfaction is something I'm seeking. I think it's one of these things. It's a goal. Yeah. And I think for me, I constantly want to push myself on to do bigger and better things. So that's where the seeking of satisfaction lies, I guess.
I'm here basically from a student radio, and it's good to get your opinion on something like this day and age. Like, what importance do you see radio playing in an artist's career and overall? Like,
very important. Really, it's very important. It's like, you know, it's for a lot of people, it's the only way that they're able to find new music and discover new sounds and find out about the artists that they like. You know, not everyone is on the internet. You know, people may think that that's the case, but radio has been around for a very long time, and it will be in the future in digital or audio, you know, FM or whatever. It's always going to be around, online, internet, so on and so forth. So it's very, very important. I find a lot of my news that I like through radio, and I like radio. I do little radio stuff myself, and it's a very, very important medium, you know.
Just a couple of questions to wrap it up. Seeing some footage of your shows, I see you love to implement like live instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
Any other like specific factors you'd like to add to your shows, or maybe to differentiate them?
Well, I guess experimentation. Everyone's got kind of electronic stuff going on. Like guitarist's got like his guitar going through a Chaos pad, and he's got his iPad up in there now, and keyboards, and I've got my own little bits and pieces, and my drummer's got like a SPDS electronic drum kit and drum pad even. And yeah, it's important to be as experimental as possible, to make it interesting for ourselves as well as the listener. You know, you don't want to hear... I hate going to a show and hearing the album as you could hear it in your living room or your bedroom, or you know, your headphones going on the street. I think it's important to have a difference between the home listening experience and the live show. So that's what we're trying to achieve really with what we do. You know?
Any crazy antics?
Not really. We're really boring. We're all very boring. We just kind of have our wild time on stage, and then that's it. We just have herbal tea and go to bed early. Yeah.
All right. And regarding I heard the Streets Mike Skinner named you alongside Drake as his favorite MC.
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Who would you name as your favorite MC?
Whoa, favorite
worldwide,
MC.
Overall, like dead or alive.
MF Doom, one, and I'm gonna name two. MF Doom and Roots Maneuver, probably. Those two. But that's today. Tomorrow will be different. I listen to music on an hourly basis, so I'm always changing. But at the moment, yeah, if I were to say MCs, I would say so.
What about artists overall, like groups, bands? I heard you said...
I listen to a lot of music. I guess the things that I'm listening to at the moment, Little Dragon, I love. An indie band called Hot Club de Paris, I really love. Who else I've been listening to?
I heard you said Metronomy somewhere.
Metronomy, yeah, I love Metronomy. I love Metronomy. They're an amazing band. I really love them. Radiohead, I always love a bit of them. That's about it. At the moment, I'm really into indie music. I go through different phases, different stuff, and at the moment, all indie. I'm listening to a lot of indie stuff. A lot of like the Good, the Bad, and the Queen, and old Blur stuff, and yeah, there's lots of indie things at the moment. Yeah.
And I mean, it's a bit different as you're currently in the indie kind of universe. But are you planning to go back to like doing hardcore grime?
No, that was a period of time that was necessary, but I don't know. This wasn't the arena for me to do what I wanted to do. Really, it was a great introduction into electronic music, because I was listening to electronic music, but not homegrown stuff, as in UK-based electronic stuff. So that was my introduction into it, and it was important. But I still love grime, but no, that's not gonna happen.
I see. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
We're great to have you on our radio.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We'll be on our website, on YouTube, and
Cool.
all the best to you.
Nice one, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Nice one, man.